Is that really why you came here this hour?
Well, I figured NSA and all, you wouldn't want to talk about this over the phone.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most extreme moments of passion to ever occur on the small screen. Spoilers will be mentioned, so this is your official warning.
You burn for me.
Why do you think I followed you into that garden?
Number 20. Let It Snow, Spartacus. It may come as no surprise that a series known for gratuitous violence wouldn't shy away from showing intimacy either. While Spartacus aired plenty of raunchy moments during its run, one stands out above the rest. In the third and final season, the recently freed Sybil is left weak in a blizzard after using her own blood as sacrifice in a prayer ritual. All seems lost until Gannicus, a gladiator, scoops her up and takes her to a makeshift shelter.
You believe him a god now?
It was made on his behalf, to plead for his cause and all those devoted to it.
Even with Sybil still being injured, the two prioritize getting it on over getting to safety, hooking up then and there in the snow. Not even the risk of frostbite or hypothermia can keep them off each other, making for a truly steamy scene.
I have warned you to stay far from men of my kind.
You ask the impossible.
Number 19. The Cage Arc, Lost. What else can you do besides give in to your desires? Kate and Sawyer grappled with this during the third season of Lost, when the two found themselves imprisoned by the others. Things soon reach a boiling point when Sawyer explains that they have been taken to another island.
When were you planning on telling me this?
Never.
Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Because I wanted you to believe that we had a damn chance.
With the knowledge that they were essentially stranded with no easy way to return, Kate responds in the most natural way possible, by immediately kissing her fellow captive. It quickly escalates from there, and the two have sex. The moment is made more over the top with the revelation that the two have been filmed, and Kate's other flame, Jack, happened to catch them after the act.
If it helps, I was surprised too.
Number 18. In Our Dreams, True Blood. Throughout this series, it was established that humans exposed to a vampire's blood often experienced intense side effects.
You found me. Didn't make it easy. I know I didn't.
The most prominent of these symptoms was steamy dreams about the vampire that afflicted them. Jason Stackhouse learned that when he was sucked into a fantasy starring himself and vampire Eric Northman.
But I can't get you out of my head. You probably hear that a lot, don't you?
For 1,000 years. Only twice how I felt it in return.
The latter had offered up his blood in the previous season, and the effects definitely take hold. The sequence quickly becomes intense, with the two using enhanced strength to pin each other down and take control. The viewers were then treated to kisses, caresses, and more, only for it to abruptly end when Jason woke up just as things were about to get even raunchier. Number 17. Jon Snow and Ygritte, Game of Thrones. There's certainly no shortage of explicit scenes to choose from in this fantasy drama series. However, Jon Snow and Ygritte's cave romp is definitely one of the most infamous. After meeting in the second season, the two soon develop a relationship full of playful banter.
Walk.
I could teach you how to do it.
I know how to do it.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Things come to a head when they find themselves alone in a cave. It isn't long before she strips down and offers to break his streak of celibacy.
You swore some vows. I want you to break them.
Jon agrees, and the two get down and dirty. Ygritte keeps up her usual snark, only to be interrupted by Jon's impressive performance. Number 16. A Night with a God, American Gods. Intimacy between two humans is spicy enough. Swap one out for a literal deity, and you're left with an even more intense encounter. Salim learns this when a chance encounter with a taxi driver leads to the night of his dreams.
سنة أسوق تاكسي يا صديقي.
10 سنين من وين أنت؟
مسخات في عمان.
While he appears to be human, things take a turn when he reveals that he's a djinn. Once they reach Salim's destination, they go up to his hotel room, and the human is treated to a night of raunchy, cosmic sex. As though the two engaging in multiple positions wasn't extreme enough, they kick things up another notch with a fiery climax, ensuring the scene wouldn't be leaving anyone's minds anytime soon. Number 15. Ski Lodge Romp, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. While there are plenty of steamy sequences that prioritize eroticism, there are others that focus on pure comedy. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia falls firmly into the latter, particularly Charlie's romp with Bulgarian model Tatiana.
But lately something's changed, it ain't hard to define, just he's got himself a
While Dennis had initially been interested in her, his friend bested him after he came across her sitting nude in a hot tub. The two enjoy a series of wild positions on a bearskin rug, all while Jesse's girl blares on in the background.
You see, last night Tatiana taught me all about communism. Cold, hard winters, gross soups. She also taught me a lot about sex.
They're hardly censored during the lurid act, showing the viewers more of Charlie than they've ever seen before. His saxophone skills afterwards are the cherry on top, closing out the raunchy scene in the most hilarious way possible.
So I get it now. I like the mountain. I understand the rules. And I'm gonna shred.
Number 14, Mia punches Hank, Californication. In just one episode, viewers knew exactly what they were in for.
Sweet baby Jesus. Hank is going to hell.
As soon as Hank Moody graces the screen in Californication, it's clear he's a mess who only cares about finding his next thrill. He finds that thrill in Mia, a young woman he meets at the bookstore.
If you're under the impression that I'm in love with myself, then it's possible that you are higher than me right now.
Is someone battling some low self-esteem?
Oh, you have no idea.
After some playful ribbing, they eventually end up in bed. Things then suddenly take a violent turn when Mia punches Hank in the face mid-hookup, giving him a black eye. Though it initially seemed like a random act, it ended up coming back to bite him when he realized who she was, and why he should have never slept with her.
You two know each other?
No.
Well, I do recognize you.
Oh.
Yeah, sure I do.
Number 13, Vanessa and Dorian, Penny Dreadful. Extreme intimate encounters are by no means exclusive to the modern era. The 19th century historical series Penny Dreadful more than proved that in its first season alone.
Dorian Gray. Who do you want to be?
Myself. Without limits.
Then put on music for dancing.
As soon as Dorian Gray and Vanessa Ives get a moment to be alone, their mutual attraction becomes clear as day. The flirting quickly turns into something far bigger, and then a knife enters the mix. As if that wasn't intense enough, their climax is ultimately interrupted by a demonic auditory hallucination, morphing the sensual moment into an absolutely horrific one. We don't blame anyone who needed a minute after this. Number 12, Group Bonding, Sense8. In this series, 8 strangers are brought together thanks to an emotional and mental bond. The 6th episode proved that the Sensates in Sense8 were physically bonded as well.
You feel how it burns?
The group members are suddenly overtaken with desire for one another. What starts out with a couple enjoying themselves alone in bed and an intimate workout session between friends soon devolves into a raunchy montage of torrid acts involving everyone within the cluster in a variety of locations.
Take on cash, baby.
The lines between fantasy and reality blurs, and it becomes impossible to tell where one body ends and the next begins. After the highly provocative sequence, it's immediately back to business as usual, leaving the viewers' minds reeling with what they just witnessed. Number 11, An Explosive Night, The Boys. This moment opened up the 3rd season with a bang, literally. During a party, fellow Soup Termite indulges in illicit substances, which leaves him sneezing more than usual.
I want you inside me.
He ends up in a room alone with another man, who insists the hero shrink down and pleasure him. Termite obliges, and soon, viewers are met with the sight of him casually walking inside his partner's genitalia. It's made even more extreme when the hero suddenly sneezes, causing him to regrow and blow up his lover from the inside. An 11-foot-tall prosthetic was built for this moment, and we truly hope it was all worth it. Number 10, Buffy and Spike, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's something to be said about a will they or won't they dynamic, and sometimes it's just best to let shipping be shipping.
Your job is to kill the Slayer, but all you can do is follow me around making moon eyes.
I'm in love with you.
You're in love with pain. Admit it. You like me because you enjoy getting beat down.
A certain contingent of fans wanted Buffy and Spike to get together on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but when they finally did, the results were so explosive that it caused collateral damage.
I wasn't planning on hurting you much.
You haven't even come close to hurting me.
Afraid to give me the chance?
The pair engage in an argument back and forth until their passions eventually explode into a scene that, quite literally, brings the house down. Buffy and Spike's fun time is so intense that an abandoned house gets shaken to its foundation thanks to all the activity.
When did the building fall down?
I don't know.
Number 9, Be My Baby, Moonlighting. Speaking of will they or won't they, Moonlighting is the textbook example of how getting a couple of characters together can ruin a show.
I just want to talk to you about this.
Why?
Why? Why, Maddie?
David, I asked you a question. Why should I talk to you about it? What difference will it make?
Fans thrilled at the witty repartee of Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis over the course of 2 seasons. But after their characters finally hooked up in the 3rd, Moonlighting began its slow but inevitable decline.
How about we do it all again? Only this time I'll chase you. How do you feel about me, David? How do you feel about all this, David? I have a right to know, don't I?
That said, the scene when David and Maddie finally do the deed admittedly does feel earned, rising up from physical arguments to, well, getting physical. The musical accompaniment is Be My Baby by the Ronettes, and it underlies how long these characters have secretly wanted what's going down. Sure, it's not graphic by today's standards, but the romance was hot stuff back in the late 80s. Number 8, Smitten in the Kitchen, Shameless. The American version of the infamous UK series Shameless did a great job at carrying over all of the sexual going-ons between the Gallagher family and the show's various cast of characters.
Straight answer, if I hadn't busted my skull for you tonight, would you have looked at me twice?
You're saying that I look twice.
Oh, you did then?
Heck, the very first episode of Shameless USA features a graphically realistic tryst between Emmy Rossum's Fiona Gallagher and a good Samaritan named Steve.
Tonight, I see you there again. All the indications being that I'm getting a second chance to make a good impression. Tell me to stop, and I'll stop.
The sequence revels in how awkward and uncoordinated even the best hookup can be, and both actors lean into not having a lot of hang-ups or vanity with regards to how the act looks on screen. It's a smart move in the end, because the scene ends up being both over the top, as well as pretty steamy, if we're being honest. Number 7, Catherine's Lovers, The Great. This fictional and satirical take on the life of Catherine the Great takes delight in showcasing some sexual gymnastics between Catherine, her husband Peter, and her lover Leo.
What is wow?
I don't know. There's a word that came to me.
It is right, I think.
Although Catherine initially finds more satisfying encounters with Leo, Nicholas Holt's Peter III of Russia does his erotic homework and wants to prove it to Elle Fanning's Catherine.
I wish to now also give you a gift.
How exciting. We are curiously like-minded.
Sit on the desk and pull up your skirts.
Right. A gift.
Enter a scene where Peter pleasures lead Catherine in a manner that juxtaposes the pair's marital activities against the carnal excursions with Leo. It's the sort of hot stuff that's easy to find on streaming services like Hulu, but The Great still manages to stand out from the pack. Number 6, Caught, The Americans. Sex on basic cable can traditionally only go so far, and this went double back in the mid-2010s.
Henry, I don't think Mom and Dad came home. I don't care.
Yet that didn't stop The Americans from pushing buttons and boundaries with this daring sequence from its 2nd season.
Get back in your room, Henry!
Let's face it, no child wants to walk in on their parents doing it, but the position in which real-life couple Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys are in is quite graphic, particularly by cable standards.
Privacy and respect. This is why we have those rules.
I know. Why would you open a closed door?
I missed you, Mom, and I'm sorry.
Then again, The Americans was a show that featured an enthusiastic car scene in the very first episode, so fans probably knew what to expect, an eyeful.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Number 5, This Tent is on Fire, Westworld. We're thinking that the sex between Maeve and Hector here on this episode of Westworld just had to be phenomenal.
I've been here before. We've been here before.
We also did this.
How else could those characters explain continuing to carry on while the area around them is on frickin' fire? We get that Maeve knows that they're both cybernetic hosts who will just reset whenever they die anyway, but that explanation is no fun.
Getting to hell is easy.
we'd much rather imagine the feelings she and Hector have for one another, burning hotter than the flames that threaten to engulf nearly everything around them in that tent. Number 4. Breaking Bed, Jessica Jones. The Marvel Cinematic Universe isn't exactly a place where sex scenes are commonplace. Thankfully, some of Marvel's Netflix shows picked up some of that sexy slack, such as the scene between Jessica Jones and Luke Cage in this 3rd episode.
More?
Nah. Full.
I wasn't talking about the food.
The pair's on-screen coupling is aggressive, action-packed, and enthusiastic, where neither participant feels slighted with regards to the camera gaze. It provides tonal shifts and subverted expectations from typical Marvel flair. Meanwhile, a Decider article from 2015 further analyzed the relationship as it progressed with regards to their emotional vulnerability. As the sex scenes become more, well, super, so too do Cage and Jones become closer as a pair.
I got no idea what you're thinking.
I think you do.
Number 3. Murder by Sex, American Horror Story. The title of our entry just sorta says it all, right? After all, when you nab Lady frickin' Gaga to star in American Horror Story, you just gotta go over the top with her season.
In no way till you cannot speak, and you live to have a cigarette and these get weak. Escape.
Hotel ticked all of the hot and spooky boxes with this scene featuring Gaga and her co-star Matt Bomer.
This was just an evening or a thing that would last. Either way, he wanted her and this was bad.
The pair engage in some coitus with another couple, only for the scene to get really dark when Bomer's and Gaga's characters murder their new partners in graphic fashion. On one hand, it's par for the course for American Horror Story to mix sex and death in this fashion, but then again, the execution goes for broke, and Gaga sells it to the max.
A little early for you, isn't it?
Number 2. Marnie and Desi. Girls. Sex, by its very nature, is comedy. Very few of us look good doing it, which is why Hollywood scenes fulfill such an important fantasy.
Talking about the intimacy.
Yes, I'm talking about the intimacy.
Then there's shows like Girls, which arguably depicts sex at its most realistic. Sure, Marnie and Desi are a good-looking couple, but there's nothing flattering about the position they're in while fornicating in their kitchen. It's a scene that immediately got fans talking, and it's explicit enough that we can't really go into too heavy a description without YouTube flagging us. That said, fans of Girls know exactly what we're talking about. And also fans of Family Guy.
I'm sorry that I gave you the impression that I was even almost remotely capable of doing something like that.
Number 1. Ladder play, Bridgerton. Mileage may vary with regards to period costume dramas, but there's no denying the "did you see that" talking points Bridgerton brought to practically every water cooler. Phoebe Denevar's Lady Daphne losing her virginity in grand fashion?
How do you feel?
I feel wonderful.
Check. Daphne and Reggae Jean Page's Simon Bassett's palatial escapades throughout a fancy schmancy British manor? Double check. It's the sort of sex scene that's borderline comedic with how over the top it is, including an infamous climax with Daphne atop a ladder and Simon down below. Which of these ridiculously steamy scenes is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below.